I thought I'd create a short video on Google My Maps. This is really to show my friend Brian how we can create routes in My Maps. He's seen something I've produced before and wanted to know how to use it. Log and click on the link, and that will take you to Google Maps. This is obviously my Google My Maps. It's got a lot of maps on it because I've been using it. Yours may or may not. Google My Maps is a map collaboration tool. It's a great way of sharing maps with friends and colleagues and allowing them to share maps with you as well. It was a bit of a faff to get to My Maps. There isn't an easy way of getting here, so it really is worthwhile now creating yourself a shortcut so that you can come back to this screen fairly easily. So let's look at the map creation process. The first thing we ought to do is create a new map. There it is in red on the top left hand corner. On the top left hand side here we have the layers that are associated with this map, and Google My Maps creates an untitled layer for you straight away that you may use. We're not going to use it at the moment, and I'm not going to delete it just yet. I'll delete it later. We have a row of buttons across here, so hand, which you can select and move the map around. You can add a marker using that marker button. You can draw a line between 2 points using that one, and the one we're going to use mostly for creating driving or riding routes is to use add directions. And the minute you click this, a new layer is created in the layers box. At this point I quite like to just zoom into the area that I'm working in, so we're going to do something in and around Dorchester. We can add our start point, so I'm just going to type Charminster and select that, and we're going to end up at the Haynes International Motor Museum and select that, and Google creates a route for us from Charminster to the Haynes Motor Museum, and it is the most direct route. As motorcyclists we tend to want to change these routes around, so I'll just show you how to do that. You'll see that your hand turns to a finger with a little dot. You can now click and then drag that dot around to where you want to go. So I think we're going to go up to Blandford Forum, up the higher Shaftesbury Road to Shaftesbury, and then it's rerouted automatically, taking the A303. So again, just place the mouse onto the line, get one of those dots, and then just drag it to where you want to go till it gives you what you want. And down the bottom here in our start, I'm going to zoom in. So again, mouse on the line into a dot, put it across to where you want it to go. Does all the routing for you, and there you are. So I've created a route. It has a start point, it has an end point, and then I've amended that route to go where I want it to go. So the next stage is to do a little bit of administration. We need to give this map a name. I'm going to call this the Haynes Loop, and you can name each layer. Rename this layer. We'll call this 1-2 Haynes Museum, and that's pretty much it. The only other thing I would do now is I have this redundant layer here that I'm not going to use, so I'm going to take it out. So Haynes Loop with my first layer added to it called 2 Haynes Museum, and now that map is saved. If I come out of this, the Haynes Loop, my most recent map, has been created and it's just there. And all we do now is to go into that as we can go back into it. The best thing to do here is if you click on the hamburger icon and open a new tab. That means if you want to come back to My Maps, you can come back here, although do remember you'll need to refresh to show any changes. So going across to the Haynes Loop Google My Maps, we can now add further layers. So this is my route out. I want my route back to Charminster. So we're just going to add another layer. It's exactly the same process. We click on the Add Directions button. We start, select our start point. Google's quite clever here. If I start I start typing Haynes, you'll see that it offers me point B, which was the end point for the previous route. And then if I type Charminster, it offers me point A, which is the beginning of the previous route. And it's created the route automatically, shortest route down to there. But again, like last time, we want to amend that, so I'll just give this a quick amendment, show you how it's done. So mouse to the finger, take it over, we'll go out. Go out to Crookham and come down this road here, and we'll go up towards Langport. Somerton, probably the best place to go. Isn't quite doing it very easily, so do a second click, get it up to there. Okay, so I've amended my route now. Somerton, Langport, down to Crookham, Misterton, and down into Charminster. Next layer has changed, so I'll rename this. I'm going to name it 2 to Charminster. So there we go. We have a map called Haynes Loop, and I've got a route out to the Haynes Museum, route number 1, and route number 2 is a route back from the Haynes Museum back to Charminster. If we go to the bottom of the layers, we can change the base map. So if we're going somewhere where it's quite mountainous, it's quite nice to have the terrain map selected. I tend to use that quite a lot. Gives you an idea of how many hills you're going to go up and down and what it looks like. That's all you need to do. You can just close that down, and once you refresh my maps, you'll see that the most recent map has now changed to a terrain map. Once you've finished playing with your map, you might want to share this with other people. That's pretty much what My Maps is for. The way I tend to do it is to go back into the map, and here we can see the button to share. Click on share, click enable link sharing, and that will give you a link you can copy and paste into an email. If you select public, then anybody can search for this map on a search engine, and if that's what you want to do, that's the way to do it. And drive sharing, nothing to do with driving or riding. Drive sharing is will allow a user to go into your Google Drive to collect the map. And when you go back into My Maps, give it a quick refresh, you'll see that it's moved to given a little world button here to show you that the map has been shared. Summary of what we've done: we've come to Google My Maps, we've created a map called Haynes Loop. We've got 2 routes on it, to Haynes Museum and to Charminster, all within there, and we've amended the automatically created route in each layer to give us what it is we want to do. And then once we're satisfied that it's all as it wanted it to be, we have shared it out. But, and the problem we have here is that there's just 2 blue routes, and really we want to be in a game where we can have multiple colours for each route on the map, so that it's easier to identify which route is which. So my next part of the video is to show you how to do that. There's no point trying to start changing the colour of the routes until you're absolutely sure that the routes that you've got on the map are the ones that you want, because in the next stage you won't easily be able to change it. Here we can see a route that I've created before, and it's a map called Dordam Ride 3, and it has 3 routes or 3 legs on it, and each of them are in different colours. The start of the route is down here, it's this home icon, and then we've gone through the red route to this cafe icon, then we've gone along this blue route to this next cafe icon, and then along the green route back to home. So that's a much easier, visually appealing way of showing the routes, and I'm now going to show you how to do that. So back into Google My Maps, go and find the Google map that you want to amend, click on the hamburger, open a new tab. and we've opened the map and we all recognize that, the one that was there before. The process here is to export this and then download it and then import it into a new map. It's the only way of doing this. I'm going to export the map, so we go to the hamburger, click on here and we go export to KML KMZ. Leave it to the entire map. We don't need to click any of these boxes, and just click download. And we can see down the bottom it has downloaded, and if I go show in folder, a new map called haynesloop.kmz has appeared in my downloads folder. The next stage is to go back to my maps, so we can close this down, go back to my maps, and we're going to create a new map. And Google has created this first layer with the import button already on it. So we click import, select a file from your device, just go to your downloads folder, Haynes Loop, that's what we called it. We'll open that. So there's still blue lines, but now we have the option to change the color of those lines. And if you look in each layer, you can see this is called individual styles. Customize the appearance of the layer features on the map. You can only do this when you do it this way. So I'm going to change the first layer to a kind of a red color, and the second I'm going to change to kind of a greenish color. And we can also change these icons. So if you click on the icon, the little paint bucket, you can choose icons. There's lots of these few icons here, but there are hundreds of icons that you can choose, but the most popular are already here. So A is where we start. I'm going to call it home. I'm going to give it a purple color. And B, which is going to be our cafe, I'm going to give it a cafe color, cafe icon rather. I give that purple color. And then onto this layer, same thing again. Hang your mouse onto this little paint bucket. Haynes was the cafe, purple color, and home is the home icon, and we had a purple color. Remember, now change your base map. Again, we'll change it to terrain. That's what I tend to do. Rename your map. Save that. And go back to My Maps. And here we have two routes. One called Haynes Loop. It's all in blue. One's called Haynes Loop. There's red and green. This is the original one. Google Maps been shared. This is one with the padlock hasn't yet been shared, so we'll go ahead and share that now. Exactly the same way. Share, enable link sharing. There's your link, copy if you need it. Paste it into an email. Go back to My Maps using my shortcut. And I now have a map that has coloured routes, coloured icons, and has been shared. The main thing about this is that what you can't do is change this route because of the way that the KML KMZ format works. So at this point, my advice is don't start this stage, as I said before, until you're absolutely sure that you've got your map sorted as you want it to be. Final point to add is that if you want to then convert your KML KMZ into Google, something to go in Basecamp, something I do quite a lot, I do have another video that you can go and have a look at, and that will tell you how to do that. I hope you found that useful.